time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What gain has the worker from his toil? I have seen the business that God has given to the children of man to be busy with. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. I perceive that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and do good as long as they live. Also that everyone should eat and drink and take pleasure in all of his toil. This is God's gift to man. I perceive that whatever God does endures forever. Nothing can be added to it, nor anything taken from it. God has done it so that people fear before him. That which is already has been, and that which is to be already has been, and God seeks what has been driven away. It's very similar to other parts of Ecclesiastes that we have read, and that part dealt with just being happy with what you have for today. But there's also something to understand, that there is a season for everything. We're going through a season like we have never seen, through a pandemic. Everything that happens in life happens to everybody. We're born, we die. There's war, there's famine, there's peace, there's all these things. There's a season to everything. Right now we're in a season of a pandemic. But God is with us. And we need to understand that if we trust in him, there's nothing that can surprise God. There is nothing that is outside of God's purview. And we need to understand that this is just a season. It will end at some point, just as all other seasons do. But we need to understand there's a season for everything. We're going through this. And then there will be a season of recovery. And there will be a season of hope. And there will be a season of blessing. But right now we're going through this time of economic upheaval caused by a pandemic. And I pray today that we understand that this is just a seasonal thing, that times come, times change. There's nothing new under this sun, as Ecclesiastes tells us. So let's work through this season. Let's pray to God, and let's take advantage of this season to grow in him and to seek him. We've kind of spoke on this before, but it's something worth mentioning again. Again, there's a time to cry and a time to weep and mourn, but there's also a time to rejoice. Right now there's crying and there's weeping and there's mourning. But there will come a time of joy and peace and hope, and we look forward to that. Continue to pray that God will be with you. Continue to seek him. Continue to grow in him. And when this season's over, we'll see a season of blessing coming towards us. Pray that God will continue to touch and be with you this day and all.